Besarra's going to probably want to get this one in close, and does so there with a nice combination.
Well, both fighters taking some time to feel each other out here in the early stages of round one. Again, with the professional fights, 3 5-minute rounds.
Besarra right now holding the center of the cage and coming in with a nice takedown there, caught the kick, and he's on top again. Full rules here in effect for our pros with 3 5-minute rounds, and Patrick Besarra on top of Reza Kamali to start round one.
Well, and a big flurry there and an excellent takedown by Besarra, and he's going to have to get to work, although a very nice tight guard by Reza Kamali, putting the pressure forward, making it so Patrick Besarra can't get balanced and able to get some strikes. So we'll see how long this is able to stay here. Not much happening, and we do know official Elvis Lyon very prone to calling them up if he doesn't like what's going on the ground.
Well, it does look like Besarra might be passing now in a bit of a half guard from Kamali, and again, based on Kamali's background, you got to know Besarra wants to keep this close, and if he can stay on top, he's going to stay away from those fists of Reza Kamali. And now a guillotine attempt, and Kamali using it to squirt into a a side control position, but a nice transition there from Patrick Besarra.
Yeah, Besarra was waiting for him, and when he got away from the side control and went north-south, Besarra saw that as an opportunity to get back on top, and we'll see how he can work now on top with 3 minutes to go in round number one.
Coaches, his teammates up at True North Combat Sports with 2 young kids at home, said this might be his last fight depending on the result. And so far so good, though, here as through 3 minutes in round, or 2 minutes rather, in round one. Besarra's been on top for most of this fight, Jeremy.
Yeah, and a bit of a unique guard here by Reza Kamali. He's very, very high up and using it to maybe perhaps give Besarra a different view, and a nice elbow drop by Besarra there. And now some rubber guard here, mission control, and perhaps trying for a gogoplata and putting that pressure down on the neck of Besarra, and trying to use his shin to choke him out, but just a weird angle there, unable to work from that position, but it does enable him to get back to standing. So we'll see if Reza Kamali, now back in a standing position, can use that karate back onto his advantage. A nice punch, elbow landed as well.
Yeah, a little bit of dirty boxing up against the cage for Reza Kamali, as he does a nice job, and he's going to need to get some work done here, Jeremy, if he wants to have a chance to win this round, as he spent the better part of the first half of it on his back with Besarra on top. But in right now, it's Reza Kamali with Besarra pressing him up against the fence. They're exchanging knees, and I think that's a battle that Kamali will win, as he's got a bit of a height advantage over Besarra, but Besarra kind of trying to chop down those trees and land those knees to the legs and maybe take away some of the power of Kamali.
Well, it's a very important thing to do against a good striker like Kamali. You've got to take away his power base, and if you bruise and attack those big muscles in the thighs, the quads and the hamstrings, you're really going to take away his ability to strike and kick you with any sort of power. So good strategy here by Patrick Besarra.
Besarra continuing to work, although Kamali landing a nice knee to the midsection now is looking, might have looked for a standing guillotine. Besarra wants none of that, dodges out of the way of a kick, and returns with a jumping kick of his own. Maybe trying to show the karate guy he's got some strikes too.
Well, Patrick Besarra is not afraid to get in, and another jumping kick with only 40 seconds remaining in round one. And again, there's another jumping strike, so we'll see if Besarra can keep up the aerial display here. A jumping kick and then a Superman punch and a spinning kick from Reza Kamali. It's some entertaining striking here. They're not really landing.
A spinning back fist in answer from Patrick Besarra there, as and a nice kick to the back of the leg as a counter to the kick that was coming up, and now looking for the up kicks here. Reza Kamali, Patrick Besarra kicking down, and I like his chances in that exchange.
Well, he is already down being as short as he is. Again, we only have 60 seconds, so this is our first pro fight. Even we have to get used to it as commentators.
Well, first pro fight of the evening anyway, as Besarra and Kamali come out. Besarra in the black and white trunks, the Muay Thai shorts for Reza Kamali. A lot of head movement there from Besarra before he lands a leg kick. It was interesting, Kamali just kind of hung that leg out there, a Muay Thai kind of just hung that leg out there waiting for it to be kicked, and Besarra took advantage and then used the momentum to get in and secure another takedown.
And another rubber guard here by Kamali, and it's a very effective technique. If it hasn't been worked in the gym by Besarra, it can give him a different look that he might not be used to, and but he seems to be managing it all right as he now is continuing to work forward and lay some few shots down on Reza Kamali.
So Besarra still on top, not giving Kamali any room to put some of those very impressive striking skills to work. Again, a national champion in karate is Reza Kamali, and if one wants an example of how effective karate can be in mixed martial arts, you need look no further than Lyoto Machida. And Besarra, not wanting anything of it, got in, got the takedown, and now has just one arm out. We'll see if Kamali can secure the other one. A nice job to pop loose from Ren Besarra.
Well, the old adage, 2 arms in or 2 arms out, and if you ever recognize that you are not both arms in or both arms out, you need to change your position immediately, because you're going to end up in a triangle position. The triangle, when it first came into use, was very, very effective because nobody really knew where it was coming from, and then fighters started getting wise, and now you very rarely see people tapped out to that triangle unless it's in the very late rounds, because people just get tired and forget about where necessarily their body positioning is. But again, for those of you watching at home, if you ever find yourself 1 arm in or 1 arm out, or 1 arm in, you need to make sure that you are correcting that position. And with 2.5 minutes left in round 2 here in our first pro fight of the evening, we really do see that we have great fighters here that are able to counter these techniques, and they train them in the gym all the time, Ryan.
Yeah, it was a nice set of punches there a couple minutes ago from Ren Besarra, as he now continues, might be looking for a choke here, Jeremy. Not sure if he can get the momentum on it, but or get it underneath the chin of Reza Kamali, but doing what he can to get in. And as a result, Besarra continuing to try and drive that guillotine choke home. But right now, Kamali doing a good job to get out, a nice knee and some more punches. Really, again, staying so close, Jeremy, staying so tight and not allowing Kamali any room and swarming them anytime they get to their feet.
Yeah, he's been all over him for the entire fight. Anytime that they've been in contact, Patrick Besarra has been all over Reza Kamali, not letting him do anything. And we saw a jumping guillotine attempt by Reza Kamali, but he slipped right off. And in these later rounds and later in the round, the fighters get sweaty, and it's very hard to get a hold of that guillotine, especially with shaved head as well. That when there's no hair to grip on, you slip right off.
Besarra still on top of Kamali as he has been, and now the ref will stand them up with just over a minute to go in round number 2. They'll get back to their feet. A nice body shot there from Kamali as he comes forward again. 2-0 as a professional boxer, and but 0-1 as a professional mixed martial artist, and a nice takedown there from Ren Besarra. Again, gets in close, or Patrick Besarra rather. Ren Besarra fighting earlier on the card. Patrick Besarra, a nice fist to the face there. Nice punch was the word I was looking for, as Patrick Besarra continues to work the top position.
Now with just short time remaining here in round 2, some good strikes from the top by Patrick Besarra. And you can't really call this round anything but Patrick Besarra, because, as you mentioned, it's been a swarm the entire fight. He hasn't let Reza Kamali really do anything.
No, Reza Kamali's landed a couple punches, but really otherwise It's been all Patrick Besarra. Round 3 underway, and look at that, some more punching coming from both fighters here as they try and find a space. And Kamali throwing that kick might have caught Besarra in the eye there, Jeremy, with just that pinky toe, and Besarra right back to it, throwing another takedown.
Well, a big takedown. I think this is the time when Patrick Besarra needs to really take that time to make sure that that eye is okay, but as he's landing big punches from the top and some more big punches, now a rear naked choke position. The chin is down for Reza Kamali, but this is a position that if I'm Patrick Besarra and I think I'm up 2 rounds to 0, I will stay in this position for the rest of the fight and just try and hold on and be in control. But Patrick Besarra now decides he's going to take a mount and work for maybe some more submissions. Just continuous action here. They just go from stage to stage. They never really stay in one spot for very long.
No, and Besarra doing a good job there, Jeremy, of transitioning, but you're right, had the rear naked choke, gave it up, didn't feel like he was going to secure it, and you maybe look if that's not a byproduct of how he's won his fights in the past. Both of his wins have been by TKO. He hasn't had a submission victory yet. Maybe doesn't feel like his submission game was going to be good enough to secure that rear naked choke, and so was looking for maybe a submission that he's more comfortable performing.
Well, and now in the mount, this is a place where he wants to work, especially with those TKO victories, but now working for a side choke or an arm triangle, both ways. He is in a really good position, but he needs to drop his hip in the position he's in right now. He's putting down pressure, but that's not the pressure he needs. He needs to just flatten out his body, and that will provide the pressure required to choke out Reza Kamali. But again, if I'm Patrick Besarra, I'm not rushing anything. I've won round 1, I've won round 2, and so I don't need to rush anything in this fight.
Well, never mind the fact that you're pretty sure you've won the first 2 rounds and you've got his back. And the judges will take that into account as a dominant position. You've got the guy's back. He's not able to do any damage to you, and even though now he's rolled through, again, Besarra remains on top, and that dominant position in a round without much action could be enough purely based on where they're positioned to give him a victory in the 3rd round as well.
Well, now Besarra landing strikes to the chest of Reza Kamali and putting that 4 down pressure on Kamali. Kamali no longer utilizing that very high guard that he was utilizing before. He's now down low on the back, whereas in rounds 1 and 2 he was very high up on Patrick Besarra. So a little bit of a change of game plan with only 1 minute and 52 seconds remaining in the fight.
Elbows coming now from the bottom. Reza Kamali trying to do something from the bottom and asked and answered from Patrick Besarra again in this position where Kamali was down looking for the up kick. Besarra not having anything of it and stepping forward, and you could see nice body shots coming from Besarra, and now striking to the face, maybe feeling that the national karate champ doesn't have enough to knock him out, Jeremy.
Well, and this is some big deep breaths there for a 5-second break as both fighters trying to get the oxygen. A nice teep to the chest of Reza Kamali by Patrick Besarra, and now some big swings, and these are just dropping from the hip. These are just straight arm swings, so not much technique in that, just hoping one of those land and can end the fight a little bit early so you can get that deep breath of oxygen.
Besarra talked about needing to have his cardio be able to go a full 15 minutes, and you can see there with another takedown, maybe getting back to the ground might be best for him because he was really taking those big open mouth breaths, Jeremy, as he's getting towards the end of this 3rd round.
Well, those open mouth breaths are very dangerous because if you get caught on the chin on one of those, you are going out. And as we look now with just 30 seconds remaining, Patrick Besarra continuing to be the aggressor in this fight, and barring again a tap out or a miracle tap out here by Reza Kamali, this is going to be a Patrick Besarra's fight.
Yeah, with just 15 seconds left, Besarra just needs to make sure he doesn't get submitted in this position, which again, tough to do with just now 10 seconds to go as we get towards the end of our 3rd and final round. Besarra trying to get it, a late up kick to the chin, but not enough, and You can see Besarra and Kamali laughing at the end of the fight, and smiles on the faces of both fighters. Patrick Besarra with the bigger one, though, he knows he's got the victory.